Sunday edition of Elephant in the Room as we get ready for spring practice. We'll talk some football. We'll talk some basketball. Yeah, we're going to talk about that basketball game. But we'll do it right after this open. What do you say, everybody? With Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie. Time for Elephant in the Room. A little Sunday edition to the action. I know you've been chomping at the bit. We want to get into football first, but you can't because of the way that that basketball game ended. I mean,
really put a day. I had the perfect day going, man. Took my daughter to a parade, early in the day. Ran by Mosley's here over in Mobile. Got a tri-tip, got a brisket that's cooking right now, and perfect day. Sit out on the back porch and watch a game, and within the first 10 minutes of that game, I knew we were going to shit the bed. I mean, just Ziegler has 2 fouls. He's out of the game in the first 8 minutes. Tennessee's turned the ball over 7 times, and we're still down 2 points. And then Holloway misses 3 free throws in a row. And I was like, all right, this is one of those games where we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. And when we were leading by 8-10 in the second half, I was like, man, I can't believe we put it together here. And then up 4 with a minute left to go. And 5-second violation, can't even get the ball in. You just knew it was going to be one of those games where we found a way to blow it.
Yeah. No,
as much as I love, again.
Well, Oats said it was his fault. He should have had bigger players in for the rebound, and then I guess he should have called timeout when it was at 4 seconds.
Yeah,
which was the thing that surprised me.
I was surprised they blew the whistle on that one, but.
Well, it's there. I mean, think about that bad foul they called on Grant Nelson. They were letting guys just get clubbed, and then all of a sudden with Bama ahead, but you still got to win that game.
You can't blow it. Look, if you're going to be considered a number 1 seed, you can't blow a 4-point lead in the last minute. I mean, with free throws, mistakes, crucial mistakes too. I mean, I'm fine with a loss. When things are pretty clean and you're giving it all you got, but just to give it away like that, it's so hard to watch, especially when you got a great day. You're sitting on the back porch, just ruining your fans' Saturday experience. Be selfish here. But I don't know. Again, last year, you watch our team last year, especially towards the end of the season. I'm thinking there's no way we go as far as that 2022 team, and Sweet 16 get beat by San Diego State. I mean, we look far worse the next year or last year towards the end of the season, and we end up in the Final Four. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe these guys, they've kind of gotten used to success, and they need a little bit more riding on these games, but. That was basically we lost to number 1 seed right there in the tournament.
Well, look, it's not over yet. I mean, they still have Florida and right. Auburn and the SEC tournament. I mean, they can turn it around, but they've got to have a killer instinct.
Yeah,
and that's what they were lacking. And I know it's a tough arena, but you got to have a killer instinct. All those opportunities that they had, and they weren't taking advantage of them.
Yeah, but this was the game. I feel like of those 3 teams, Tennessee's probably the worst.
No, yeah, I do too.
Florida and Auburn.
I thought Alabama was the better team.
I did too.
They just didn't win.
I did too. But again, I just, like I said, in that first 10 minutes of the first half, I knew when Tennessee wasn't playing very well and we couldn't capitalize, I knew it was going to be one of those games where we struggled at the end to just finish because we weren't capitalizing on Tennessee mistakes. But I don't know, man.
Where do you go from here?
I'm just ready for the SEC tournament to start.
Yeah, well, you still got another matchup with Auburn.
Yeah, I wonder how Auburn plays that game. I mean, they've already won the SEC regular season title. I mean, not a whole lot on the line for them outside of pride. But
well, that's a big pride though. I mean, it's Alabama, Auburn. I mean, they're not. They've been focused all year. They've looked better than Alabama. They beat Alabama. They've looked like the best team in the country. Florida beat them, and Florida made probably 5 to 8 shots that you normally don't make.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was their day. And I watched part of the Duke game. They were winning. I went to bed and they lost, so I think those are the 2 losses they've had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, both those teams, look, to be honest, it all comes down to how well we're shooting the 3 ball. I mean, again, we've talked about it on the show before. I love those games where we don't shoot well and still beat good teams. But, if we are shooting well, there's nobody in the country that's going to stick with us. But the free throws, I think we shot 60% from the free throw line yesterday, which is, as everybody knows, that's just atrocious. And Holloway, I don't know what was going on with him. I hope this doesn't create a yips problem with him because he's our guy in terms of shooting. Him and Mark Sears, when they get to the line, they got to make them. And if he makes one of those, we win the game. Well, say that. If he we just make a few more free throws, and we're in a far better position moving in that last minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or if like Oats said, if he puts in the right guys and to rebound the miss, and you get the rebound, you're shooting free throws, and it's a different game.
Yeah.
And those are learning experiences for a great coach. But you get into these, these pressure cooker games, you can't make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's why you got those big guys. But I didn't think the big guys played. They didn't score enough. They missed too many shots right under the basket.
Yeah.
I will say this about the game is that I like the effort that Alabama gave.
Yeah.
I thought they played hard.
Grant Nelson doesn't seem to be, last year, especially towards the end of the tournament and in the North Carolina game, it seemed like he gained a lot of confidence and sometimes at some points in those games kind of took over and became really physical and would attack the basket. I felt like he was doing that earlier this year, but lately I feel like he hasn't been doing that. Hadn't been as aggressive as he has been when he's playing at his best.
I'm just looking around going, okay, what's next? What is this? Is this because they've lost now, 3 out of 4 games?
Mm-hmm.
And is this an indicator of what's coming? Because right now they feel like maybe a Sweet 16 loser.
Yeah.
Or are they learning and, could they get into the tournament and get hot again?
It's all about the deep runs, like last year. We got lucky too last year with some of the draws we had playing Clemson and the Elite Eight. The seeding was big time, but
Clemson's good though. They beat Duke this year,
No, did they lose yesterday to Virginia?
They might have, but they did beat Duke.
No, you're right. They are good. But last year, they beat somebody last year. I can't remember who it was. And I remember feeling relieved that if we beat North Carolina, we get Clemson instead of whoever they played because they upset somebody last year.
Right. Yeah. Well, a lot of basketball talk. Some people don't like the basketball talk, but you got to get in them. This is the time where you get into basketball.
Oh yeah.
And that's an eye opener because it's a game you didn't have. How do you bounce back from that? How do they turn this thing around?
Have you been watching any of this? The Alabama Hard Knocks on that?
The Tide That Binds.
Yeah,
I haven't had a chance to watch. I don't have Fox Nation. Do you have it? Is it good?
I don't. No, I don't. I
didn't even know it was. I'm getting it, I guess, but I was gonna wait until they had them all on there where I could just binge watch.
Just knock them all out at once.
Yeah. Can you imagine Nick Saban doing one of those?
No, I can't.
They'd have to beep it out. Beep, 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 beep. You beep, 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 beep. What the beep, beep, beep? He was on He was on 60 Minutes, and it was like a taste of that. You don't turn 60 Minutes down.
No, I remember they had. I think it was before I got to Florida State. They had a special on Jimbo at practice, and it was a lot of that. I mean, it was like a musical. It was like a beat musical.
Yeah. DeBoer's not like that. I don't think he really cusses that much, and
no,
he's a really friendly guy. They start practice, I think tomorrow, right? And what's spring practice like? I mean, what are you doing in spring practice? Or at least what'd you do in spring practice?
I mean, I love spring practice. It was, I mean, this time of year, weather's pretty awesome, better than any other time of year you're practicing for the most part till you get to the end of the season. It's a lot more comfortable than camp practice, I can tell you that. 100 degrees in Tuscaloosa in August. But I mean, you getting out there, hanging out with the guys, getting better. It's the only time of year that you get to go out there and really enjoy practice with the guys and have fun, and there's not all the media stories around. Of course there are some when there's a quarterback battle, but I mean, it's just a lot more laid back than the season. Now, I mean, obviously the season is more fun because you actually have games, but again, like we've talked about on the show, is figuring out who's which guys are gonna create more momentum for that team moving forward. See what everybody's learned during the off season. Are they taking everything serious in terms of mental conditioning, physical conditioning? Who's been focused the whole time? Who's kind of taking a break since the season's been over, and who's been trying to take steps forward? And then, I mean, you figure out kind of who the team believes should be the guy at each position based on just communication and morale during spring practice. So, I mean, to me, it just, like I said, it's about having fun and trying to figure out who fits that puzzle the best.
Right. Earning the respect of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But like what, as far as like making the throws and doing drills and all of that kind of stuff, what, like for the quarterback in particular, I mean, we have an interesting quarterback battle this year with Ty Simpson and then Austin Mack. And then obviously Keelan Russell, not really, I don't think he's really in the mix for the job, but what are you guys doing? I mean, like what kind of throws are you making? Like, is it like 7-on-7 type stuff?
No, it's the same like camp practice with, I mean, there's nothing to keep your body right for. So, I mean, it's a long practice every day that you have practice. I mean, you're going out there, you're doing the same drills, same scrimmage looks. I mean, you got team run, you got good on good. I mean, the only difference is between game day practice and these practices are, I mean, you're not running against a scout team. Mm-hmm. You're running against, your guys and the best defense, 1v1, 2v2,
right,
3v3. And I mean, it's just constant movement. And, you're literally getting everything in every day. And then, you got your workouts and all that stuff too. So, I mean, it's kind of a grind, but it's at the same time, that's what you're there for,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it'd be fun to, just sit back and watch. And then, obviously not doing the traditional 8A game, and they're talking about what that's going to look like.
So have they talked about the format yet?
They didn't really say what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Something fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think was fun? The 8A game. Right. I like that. Yeah. They're worried about their best backup transferring, and that's mm-hmm. rightly so. I mean, the game's not on TV. They didn't put it on TV. And I don't think these schools want the game on TV. They don't want people to be able to just sit there and watch.
Yeah, it's so weird. So strange.
That's because they don't have any rules.
I feel bad for the high school kids now. I saw a little something on Cam Newton was talking about, and I can't remember exactly what he covered, but he did mention that he showed Rick Pitino talking about how he was going to recruit his basketball team the next year, and he said that he was not going to entertain any high school athletes. He was going after all transfers. And I can't imagine, I'm so glad, obviously outside of the NIL stuff, I'm so glad I got to come up when I came up, because it was, I just feel like it was a far more unified team that you were going to. I mean, again, guys went to Florida State or Alabama because A, they loved Alabama, or B, they were extremely loyal to Coach Saban and believed in what he thought, what he coached, how he's developing guys. And you didn't have all this. I mean, I just can't imagine having all this turnover every year, trying to figure out who's playing what. I mean, it's just got to be the most chaotic system or effort. I just can't imagine. And then on top of that, I mean, coming out of high school, I would imagine a lot of these 3-star guys are probably ended up at JUCOs, just trying to, put more film out there and end up getting to Alabama. That
Right.
road to get there is so much harder and so much longer. I mean, you gonna text this whole show, dude?
No, I'm not. I'm over here. Like, first off, you're the only one on camera right now. You've got the whole screen to yourself. You're supposed to be educating everyone on what's going on, and I'm digging for more information to ask you some really good questions. You hate that.
I hate it. I hate it when
you're not a media savvy. You don't like the whole media thing.
No,
let's just go ahead and throw that out there.
A professional that's like, I mean, I remember doing a radio interview one time in person, and I won't mention who it was, but I remember doing it was an FM radio interview, and guy would ask me a question, and he'd get on his phone like that, and I'm like, why am I even here? Why don't we just do this on the phone if we're not gonna?
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm actually. I
didn't mean it like that.
Oh, no.
It's a little bit of a different format.
Okay.
So what I mean is, I show up to a radio station to do this interview, and
right.
And we got to, in that setting, you've got like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how many segments you're staying there for.
Yeah.
And you're not even going to have a real conversation. You got some questions written down, you're asking and you're texting, and there's no response, and you just go back to the next question. I'm like,
I had this debate with a friend of mine recently, and she was like, well, you know what? I don't want my kid on the phone while he's talking to adults. And I'm like, I do that shit all the time. Okay. So it's fine. He's talking to me. That's the first thing. But the second thing is that honestly, I got a picture from our friend Bo Bounds of us at Pearl River Resort. And sadly, our friend Ryan Griffin, who works there, passed away, man. And I guess I'm just getting the information on the funeral and stuff. It's like life's so fast, man. It goes so fast. The guy was great. He was part of our tailgate show. Big, great partners of that.
I mean, it's just so strange.
Unbelievable.
Like, I mean,
40, the guy's 47.
And then Ryan, all in the same year.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ryan.
That's like our crew, like our tailgate show crew, like people that show up, and do the show and stuff. It's like, I got a picture of you talking to Bo Bounds, and then Ryan on his phone, by the way, down, and me, I'm sure fucking with him. Because I went first on that.
Ryan, show. I know that Ryan had queued up some questions for old Bo Bounds, and he was just ready to start filming it because he knew. I know what he was doing over there.
Man, we had so much fun. I remember I was on first. We were at the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. We did the show from there, and I came in pretty hot.
Yeah, you did. I mean, setting me up. And Savvy, and I'm sure you told Bo to not let me have a mic while you were talking, so I couldn't refute anything.
Like I got up that morning and I had like 2 of those Monster energy drinks. I think I gave you one too. Man, I felt like I was ready to run through a wall. Yeah, I was ready to run through a
You
wall.
were talking your way through a brick wall.
I was. My voice was breaking the the grout. Oh man, those are the worst calls though, man. Just you're just not expecting it, and then it's someone you care a lot about, and you're like, man, I just can't believe it. And then when Brett died, I mean, he was my best friend, so we worked together. And people still come on here, and they're like, hey, where's Brett? And it's like, you haven't been here for a while, but we lost Brett. I don't know, man. Life's so weird sometimes, just and they're gone. And then, you got to figure out how to go on without them.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that means,
That's what, man, I don't know. You get back and forth between like when Brett died and then Ryan died. I mean, obviously they never expected that. I mean, Brett's hanging out with his friends, and then just falls over, sharing a beer and a good time with people he loves.
Yeah, at the Pie Factory.
Ryan, I mean, we just saw Ryan, a month ago?
He called me Wednesday. No, text me Wednesday, call me on Tuesday. We're doing some stuff at the resort with the tailgate show. And
I mean, you
man,
make sure hell, we do this show and have fun with each other, and all the shit, the money, whatever all that shit doesn't matter. I mean, it's just not taking it with you when you go.
Yeah,
you better just enjoy the moments you have with people, because
never would have thought it, man. I mean, talking to him Tuesday, and I was telling him talking about Brett Tuesday. Just just different stuff. That we went through. And what was really cool is our radio show, our game day radio show, was #1 in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And that's neat, man.
I know he was excited about that.
Oh yeah, he was. Well, he's like, I need this stuff. I show everybody at the, over there. And for us, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys check us out on game day, but we come on 5 hours before the game on 106.9, which is like classic rock music, but you can hear that station from into Georgia, all the way into Mississippi, and up to like Fort Payne and down to Mobile County. It doesn't get to Fairhope, but it gets pretty close to it.
Yeah.
It's like 100,000 watts on top of Red Mountain. And then they have the Alabama football games, So, I mean, we're part of it. So, but when you pull whatever that shit, I think like a 13 share, and the next station's like a 6 share. That's pretty good. For that market anyway. That means that people are listening. I think they're driving in and they're like, is that Jake Coker on there? He doesn't do a lot of media. He doesn't like media. They're like, oh, it is. And then like somebody's like, well, don't look at your phone. Looking back on your first year, well, this is with the elephant in the room. I wonder what show this is. It's like 136, maybe. Give the folks some lessons that they can, they used to have these things on cartoons. It'd be like one to grow on. It'd be like kids like fighting over a football. And then you ever see those? They're like, hey, let's just play together with the football. And they'd be like, that's one to grow on. I remember there was one, there was a guy named Mr. T, and he had a mohawk and jewelry. He was like a bouncer in Chicago. Lane. Yeah. I pity the fool. He was on one, and it was this kid trying to pump weights, and then Mr. T gives him some advice. That's one to grow on, fool.
He was on everything.
Yeah, he was so popular.
Yeah. He was popular when I was little.
Well, he was Sylvester Stallone made him and Hulk Hogan by putting them in Rocky III.
Yeah.
And then that kind of changed their career, because that movie was.
Hulk Hogan changed the WWE, I feel like.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
by getting into the TV realm.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think, did Vince McMahon push him in that direction or no?
No, Vince McMahon didn't want him to do it.
Okay.
And And then all of a sudden Vince found out that, hey, this is a great idea. And then I think he owned his own like production company.
Yeah.
Like the wrestling used to be like territories, like you had like 2 or 3 states or a city or something. And then Vince bought them all out. Yeah. And turned it into like an international thing. And now he's like out of the whole thing because he had some off the mat stuff.
Yeah.
We'll call it off the mat.
I mean, shocker.
Yeah.
The guy's,
but he's like a billionaire, I'm guessing, right?
Has got to be.
Yeah. So, anyway, so give us some advice. I mean, what did we learn so far?
About what?
About just doing this. What like if you were giving like somebody, some advice, it's like probably like former players, because some of you guys don't really want to do the media stuff. You worry about it. You don't want to offend anybody. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
The problem for me is that I enjoy having like in a radio setting or a podcast setting, I enjoy just talking like I can talk, or like I would with the boys. Like when, Shank's in here, we have a couple beers, just chilling out. I mean, my struggle with it is that I want to have those conversations, but at the same time, the only thing sometimes I think about is like, I don't know if some of the stuff, you think about your kids hearing it or somebody else hearing it, you're like, man, I don't know. I know that people speak this way, but it's like,
right.
It's like, I don't know.
People seem to like you talking about sitting next to J.K. Scott and Ardarius Stewart. I can see you over there in the middle of that, holding court. so I mean, I
have had people. I've had a lot of people come up to me and tell me how funny that was. I guess it made its rounds on social media.
Yeah.
But when I get back and think about that, it is so funny to have Ardarius to my left and JK on my right, because, you go from bullshitting with Ardarius and having a good time. I mean, just, talking about whatever.
Yeah.
And then I lean over and JK's over here and he's got a 4:30 a.m. routine. There's no going out for JK. It's like,
right.
It's like gets up at 4:30, stretches, comes, somebody's got to show up to help, put him through all his training stuff early.
Yeah.
Then he goes through his full day like everybody else, does more like rehab after, and then he's like in Bible study after that, then going to bed. It's just repeat. Yeah. JK, he was a good guy. He's a good guy, or is a good guy.
Did you sit next to
straight-laced people you'll ever meet?
Oh yeah. Did you ever get a chance to hang out with? I mean, I know we've had Ryan Anderson in here a ton. We love Ryan, and then Shank, who's on the offensive line. But did you ever get a chance to hang out with some of those guys on the defense?
I mean, we were always hanging out. I mean, see everybody every day. I saw Bobby Humphrey the week of the Senior Bowl, and I was like, man, who are you managing Marlon's social media accounts? He goes, he's like, man, I'm afraid to even look at what he posts on there. It's like I get and I'm standing there with it's Bobby and then Scott Cooper, and Scott's real involved with the football and basketball sides. And he was like, hell, I get a call from Scott every other week tell him to take that shit down. He's talking about, when Coach Saban left and Marlon's talking about transferring. He's like, Coach Saban left, I'd be out too. I'm like, shut the hell up. Marlon just off the cuff, man. Good dude too.
Still getting after it.
Oh yeah.
Part of one of the best franchises in the NFL, Ravens.
Yeah.
Hope he gets a Super Bowl before he gets out of there.
I know. He needs one.
It'd be close.
He's put the work in, that's for sure.
Yeah. Did you ask him about playing with Derrick Henry?
Ask who about playing with
Marlon Humphrey, and then this year with the Ravens. Nah, that one slipped your mind.
Nah.
You were probably
I
asking.
mean, he's played with him before.
You were probably like, "Hey, do you have a Roback deal?" Seeing you try to get that Roback deal, rip that Roback deal away from Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you just work me into an Instagram commercial. let's figure something out here.
Oh man. Yeah, it's such a different world. Like you see this video, Kalen DeBoer, and then knowing Nick Saban. I think people are a little worried about the direction of the football program just because of the way that the season ended. But they announced their coaching staff. Having Ryan Grubb back to me is a big deal because think about Saban when he first came to Tuscaloosa. It was Saban and Kirby Smart. I mean, look, Kirby Smart went on to be one of the best coaches and the head coaches in football. But that was Saban's right hand man. You get things going and you win championships when you got great people around you.
Well, yeah, you think about the instability after he left, the instability.
Yeah,
really the offensive coordinator spot at Alabama was always kind of up in the air. I felt like, there's guys in and out. You knew Lane and Sark. You knew it was going to be a year or two type deal, and they were going to be out. And then I feel like later on, after those two, Coach Saban started going after younger guys to see if they'd stick around like Kirby did.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirby was there for what, 10, 15 years?
Long time.
When he left, it was, I think everybody was kind of like, all right, yeah, it's about that time.
Mm-hmm.
You need to.
Yeah. Well, he was waiting for that job.
Which what he did was, he did it in a masterful way. He's at Alabama long enough to, he was probably one of the most sought after coaches. And, I think he was probably waiting on that, right? Mark Richt to leave and him come in. I felt like no safer hire than Kirby Smart when he left.
Yeah. I think that honestly, I feel like Alabama should have hired him. It should have paid him way, 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 way more money than anybody else.
I don't know if you get him away from Georgia though.
Hey, look, man, money will get you away from anything. Then again, you pay these guys.
You get to a certain point, your kids are happy, you're where you want to be.
I don't know. I think the problem is that when you give someone too much stability, it looks like when John Calipari is at Kentucky, where the last 3 years they look like they just didn't care if they were out there playing. Like you got to have there has to be a little, what do you call that? Just uncertainty.
Coach Saban basically called the shots at Alabama.
Yeah, but he's wired differently than anybody I've ever seen. That's what makes him different than everybody else is that I'm hearing stories where they win the championship. They beat Texas, and he's like, "Hey, seniors, like, good for you guys, and the rest of you guys, how did you do this wrong? And how did you do that wrong?" I think McElroy's the one that told that, but I heard that also from one of the SIDs that was there. It was like he's on the plane trying to figure out his roster on the way back from the Rose Bowl.
Well, I think they had. I remember they had staff meetings like the day after.
Like it didn't even happen.
The day after we got back.
Yeah.
Planning for next year and getting a plan together on how we're going to get back to another national championship.
Yeah. And not many people are wired like that. Kirby's not even wired like that. He's done really well, but you can tell there's been a drop off. And part of it is part of it's the system.
I was about to say, you can't dominate like you used to.
No.
It's just not going to happen. It'll never be that way again.
No. And the schools, the northern schools, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Notre Dames, even watch for Penn State now, they're going to buy the depth that they need to be able to win championships.
Mm-hmm.
And at Alabama, I've said this over and over again, and it's the truth. And I'm not saying it even as a criticism of Coach Saban, but he didn't want the program. They didn't support the NIL stuff like some of the other schools did. We don't have the boosters that other schools have as far as billionaires and stuff. And I think Alabama has been average or, behind where they could have been. Had Saban been the guy that was like, hey, build this NIL. If he'd have put the effort into that he puts into everything else, I don't think we would be in a spot where we're watching guys like Caleb Downs and Payne transfer out, and guys you don't want to lose. And I think a lot of that has to do with money. Michigan's coming in and buying they got a guy named after Bear Bryant that we were after at high school in Georgia, Bear McWhorter, and all of a sudden, like, everybody thinks he's coming to Bama. He goes to Michigan. Ty Haywood, 5-star, committed to Alabama, grew up Bama fan, wanted to come to Bama, and goes to Michigan because they're buying these guys. And I know that a lot of you guys out there get so frustrated because of the system, and it's supposed to be amateur athletics, and you don't want to hear me talk about this because you're like, hey, the whole thing just stinks. You're right, but it's just the way it is. Like, I didn't make up the rules. I'm just telling you. Notre Dame, they're buying players, and Michigan's buying players, and Ohio State bought the championship last year until they make a ruling. And I guess they're saying that there's going to be some kind of like revenue share thing coming. I
heard DeBoer talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, so your thoughts, I guess, like July 1st, but I wonder how that affects the NIL part of it.
I mean, I don't know enough. I wouldn't know enough to make a statement on it. I mean, I think, again, at this point, if you're Alabama, you can't even, you're just not even on the same playing field as Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, all these schools with so much money from donors backing them, you almost can't even, unless a guy comes out and just says, look, I love Alabama, I want to come here and money's not an issue, then, I mean, you got to start getting creative and getting these guys, because you got to win with less.
Yeah. Well,
or you just got to do what Nate Oats does, and you got to go find transfers that have proven themselves but are still flying under the radar, and get really, really analytical, because I know that's what we're doing on the basketball side. Finding guys that fit within our team, and it's mostly from a mathematical standpoint.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's all analytics.
Yep.
I mean, we got guys from South Florida, Rutgers, I mean, just talented guys that I think are pretty highly sought after, but not guys you have to pay $1.5 million to get them in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. That's interesting, and that's what it's going to take, maybe, when you don't have the resources, or you can be Ohio State and just go buy the best players from your competition.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter.
You get into the big games, and you go back and look at the teams that win championships. They're loaded with NFL players. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about your team. I mean, how
many?
We
talked about that defense when Shank was here. I mean, it was the guys that got drafted, when I left, and then you forget about all the younger guys who weren't even playing that got drafted. I mean, Anthony Jennings was on the scout team my senior year, and wreaking havoc. Don't get me wrong, but that guy was on the scout team.
Well, that's and
that just shows you. I mean,
that's why they don't want them in the 8A game.
You got first to fourth round draft picks on the scout team,
right?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's why we're going back to the 8A game. Somebody sees that, they're like, "Oh, this guy, we'll take him right now and let him play."
Yeah, I mean, no, I get the reasoning behind it. I just hate we've gotten here.
Yeah,
that was such a traditional type event.
Yeah,
I mean, I still remember Coach Saban's first year when we had 90,000 people at a spring game in 2007.
Yeah, that was so cool. I was there.
I mean, it was a packed out spring game.
Yeah. Well, we got tired of losing all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it went from...
Well, tired of not only losing, but also just a roller coaster at the head coaching spot.
Yeah, and Gene Stallings was the head coach when I got to Alabama, and, you lose games and they tear the goalpost down still.
Yeah.
By the time DuBose was done, nobody tore the goalpost down anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Shula came in. He's dealing with sanctions, but at the end of the day, Saban turned the whole damn thing around. I mean, what he was able to do is still unbelievable to me. And I remember people telling me, like, I was there. Alabama lost to Tennessee every year I was an undergrad. So that's why I enjoyed all those wins against them, by the way. But I just remember people like I would run into people that traveled with Alabama when Bear Bryant was there. Be like, oh, Bear Bryant, was awesome. We beat everybody. Da, da, da. And then I never thought that we'd go through that same thing again. And I hope that DeBoer can figure it out. Because it sounds like they need more discipline to me, man. I mean, that's just kind of the feel.
I mean, I agree. Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, again, we've talked about what's his name,
Rock.
Yeah, the comments he made are just, I mean, just crazy to me. But at the same time, he's coming in brand new. The position, the toughest thing for Kalen DeBoer, though, is just the timing of this transition with all the again, the roller coaster ride that is the transfer portal and NIL. I just don't know. Alabama, historically the best program ever to exist in college football. But what also makes us that is the culture in Tuscaloosa and the fact that everybody, I mean, from small wallet to big wallet's a huge Alabama fan, but we just don't have the big wallets that these other teams have, and so we don't have the leverage.
Big wallets.
Yeah, we don't have the leverage to get guys like the Texases and all that. So I mean,
you're saying we need more oil money.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm saying is just, Kalen DeBoer just came in at a time now where I don't know if there'll ever be a school that can dominate like we did. I don't think it's possible.
I see what you're saying.
And so to get to that level that Coach Saban was, even though the odds are so small because Coach Saban was a different human being than anybody that's ever stepped foot on a football field. I mean, I know those odds were small, but I don't even know if I don't think it is possible to get there ever again because you don't have the leverage that.
Well, without rules where you can go buy, you can circumvent any type of normal sports system. I mean, there's no other sport where, you can just go buy the players off the other teams.
Yeah.
Without any punishment. I mean, think about this. If it Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah.
What happened was that the NCAA was unprepared for the possibility of having to do anything to compensate the players. I feel like the NCAA was absolutely ridiculous in the management of college sports. When you're, fining people over a cheeseburger and you're making $1 billion in football.
These people were so arrogant. They had a cash cow and they felt like they were untouchable.
Yeah, that's right.
And they did whatever they wanted to do for so long and they got complacent and never, ever imagined that they would be in this position.
Nope, they sure didn't. Guys, make sure you get on the Cover Crimson message board and forgive me for my comments last night after that basketball debacle.
What'd you say?
Well, I used the term shit the bed. You used it already in here.
Hey.
So we kind of were on the same line because that's exactly what I felt like, that Bama shit the bed. Now, so have you ever gone back and thought about terms that we use, where they come from? Being a baseball broadcaster, when I'm so I had an intern years ago who he just knew all the terms. I guess his dad and him would talk about it. So hit the ball on the screws. You've heard that before, right? That's because golf clubs used to have screws in the middle. And if you hit it, you get more pop. I mean, before the can of corn you've heard that term before.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It's like when the old supermarket, they'd have a stick and an apron and knock it down.
Yeah.
So you know where I'm getting with this?
Yeah. We had at Florida State when I first got there. There was another quarterback there named Will C. Cord, and good friend of mine, great guy. He helped me out a lot, and I'd be in there and I'd make a good play, and he'd high five, whatever, kind of teach me a few things, and I'd go in there the next play, throw an interception. I'd come back to the sideline and he goes, pat you on the ass and you shit in my hand.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. We had a friend that him and his girlfriend broke up. And like sometimes when there's a bad breakup,
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's a lot of shit talking going on. And she she made sure that we all knew that there was a time where he thought that he was just farting and he shit the bed. And I've never forgot that. Don't trust a fart. You ever heard that term before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, when I had my colonoscopy a couple weeks ago, that was like for
Oh,
about a week, I was like going into it and then coming out. I was very anytime there was going to be one of those, I'm right to the bathroom. I got the bill for that. Thank God insurance covered it, but $18,000 for a colonoscopy. Unbelievable. I mean, some of the stuff is just it's such a ripoff. It's almost feels like corruption to me, like $18,000 for a colonoscopy.
yeah. I mean,
You haven't had one yet. You're not colonoscopy age yet.
Yeah.
But I don't have to go back for 10 years. They said I
don't want any part of that.
Clean colon here. I'll drink to that.
Yeah. What you got in there? Bloody Mary?
No. Diet Coke. I got work to do around here today.
No, I hear you.
Saw that staining that deck out there. Still deciding what I'm going to do with this yard, man. Jeez. I can't stand going outside since I cut my trees.
Well, the good news is you can start from scratch.
Oh man, I got a funny story. I got to tell you. Probably not appropriate for here, but I don't know how people would take it. But remind me that,
Okay.
Yeah, $10,000 to fix this backyard.
Yep.
I mean, for that though, I guess you'd want to go outside every time. Good weather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you want to be able to chill out on the back porch, watch a game.
Yeah. You're right.
Not have to think about what you got to work on out here while you're doing it.
For those of you that are from South Alabama, you know what I'm talking about. These water oaks, they're just the worst tree. If they were live oaks, them things live for like 500 years.
Oh yeah.
Let them up there and you're fine with them. People would put put concrete in the middle of the live oak if it got like hollow. And so you'll sometimes you'll see like concrete in the middle. That's what they used to do. These water oaks are like they'll just break in half and fall. I had one break in half and fall on my neighbor's pontoon boat, and that's when I was like, I got to get these things out of here.
Yeah, that and the magnolia. I can't stand the magnolia trees.
Yeah, I got one of those too. I took one down.
Man, I used to.
The roots are really high.
The leaves.
The leaves are everywhere.
The leaves drive me crazy.
Yeah.
I used to. I mean, we had. At my house now, our neighbors had a bunch of them. And it was like every weekend I'd be out in the front yard cleaning those damn leaves up.
They put you in charge.
Oh man, I was this close to Harvey updiking those trees one night.
Were you?
I mean, just so, and then eventually somebody else moved in, they cut them down.
Well, he went to jail.
Huh?
I said, he went to jail.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Well, there wouldn't be anybody unhappy about those.
Everybody would be high-fiving you.
Yeah.
When you played with Coach Saban, what did he have any hobbies?
Golf. That's about it.
Golf. Yeah, I've heard that.
He told me about going tarpon fishing somewhere. I don't know. Or one summer, he took a vacation, which I know he rarely did, but he's telling me about fighting tarpon. I think down in I guess the Keys.
Yeah, let's go, man. I'll say this and you probably have had a little taste of this, but you get that level of fame, people are just gonna take you out, and they're not taking you to the shitty fishing spot. You're going into the they're hooking you up, and I'm sure for you, and you love to hunt, it would be the same thing. You know where the monsters lie. But if it isn't like you want Coach Saban to be going, yeah, Mick took me out down at the Keys. We banged out some big marlin. Really? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think he said he caught one and he was like, man, screw this. He's like, I'm done.
They jump up there.
fighting so hard, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, my ass too old for this.
Go out there and go snapper fishing, and like you'll hook into what I'm assuming are sharks, and then you reel these things in for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
so hard to bring in, and then they snap your
The
line. when you get-
amberjack, that's the one that, I mean, you fight a couple of those and you're done.
Yeah.
The snapper, you know, I feel like those bigger ones, they'll fight harder, but man, you hook an amberjack and it's like, I mean, it's on.
Yeah. Yeah, you got me wanting to go fishing. The weather's been nice.
That's a hell of a day today.
Yeah.
A hell of a day yesterday,
Yeah,
too.
it really is. It really is. So basketball plays, they got Florida, then they go to Auburn, and then the tournament. So we're almost to the tournament.
Yep.
And then
Wednesday.
Yeah, Florida Wednesday in Tuscaloosa.
Well, so the tournament starts in what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the week after? I mean,
It's next week.
The week following the Auburn game?
Yeah, it's that week. Yeah, because it starts early.
We're getting a March Madness crawfish season.
Wow.
I mean, it's all coming together.
Yeah. I remember you doing crawfish last year, and I kept waiting on the text.
Hell, I don't. Well,
you had them over in the neighborhood. I think I distinctly remember that.
Oh yeah, no. I go by them.
I got bad reception here though. I'm just kidding, man. I love crawfish season though.
Oh, it's the best. This temperature, you got basketball on. Grab some crawfish. Hard to beat that.
No. So any of the battles, practice wise, other than quarterbacks, that stick out to you?
I know we need to go through them on one of these shows.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we got a few minutes now. I guess Bandit, LT Overton, easy starter, right?
Hell, did you see Jihad Campbell's 40?
Yeah,
he's gliding, running a 4.5.
Yeah. He's a first rounder, man.
Oh, I tell you, that's what you forget how big everybody is and how fast they move. I mean, you see Ryan and Shank come in here, massive dudes, but man, every now and then I'll go down, before games and watch warm-ups and all that, and you stand there with somebody who hadn't played and you just start talking. You're like, man, I mean, even I've forgotten how big and fast everybody is and how much that freaking hurts.
Yeah.
Just get drilled by somebody running full speed.
Tell me about
and
that.
Not even seeing it.
It's like a car accident.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, just completely forget.
What's the hardest you ever been hit? Any of them stand out?
I mean, I always say Arkansas was the toughest one. I mean, there was a couple times when I let the ball go, and I just remember being on the ground like, oh my God, I'm trying to get air.
Yeah. Did you get the air knocked out of you before?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you're gonna die when that happens.
Yeah, happened in the Ole Miss game, that interception I threw. I mean, just trying to just
do something,
get a little air. Yeah.
And when it's happening, I mean, let's be honest here. First thought is, I think I'm dying right now.
Yeah. No, yeah. I can't imagine suffocating.
No, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, when you get the air knocked out of you, you'll never grow out of being scared when that happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, that happened to me. The first time it happened to me, I was a kid. We had a mattress, and we were using it as a trampoline.
Uh-huh.
And I was gonna jump on my back and then pop back up.
No,
I thought I was dead. I mean, you're like, that happened in a football game too. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember being at the bottom of a pile. Like, I'm dying right now. Yeah. Because you can't move.
Oh yeah. My dad always laughs because I was the youngest cousin of all my cousins. I was the punching bag,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd always have football games in the front yard, backyard, whatever. And, they used to always throw the ball up as high as they possibly could and try to get down the front yard to hit me as soon as I caught it and then pile up on me. And, I'm like 6 or 7, just getting obliterated by 10 and 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, once is like every 2 times we'd have a family, football game or whatever. He'd hear all this screaming, and it was like 3 of my cousins and my brother would have teeth marks on their back and like on their legs and ankles, whatever.
You're biting.
Oh yeah,
biting.
I was getting that pile off me, clearing that, because you're begging for everybody to get off, and they're not moving. They're not, just taking their time. It's like, all right, I'm gonna fix this.
God, that's hilarious.
Had to fight for every inch back then.
Well, those are the days, man. Now what? Like we're old and just sit around and remember the good old days.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll just kind of we'll hit later this week. We'll do kind of like a
roster review.
Yeah. I mean, this was one of those shows where we just kind of got together and caught up with everyone.
Yep. Little Sunday morning show.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I've been connecting, and if you guys, a lot of you guys get in the comment section, go to covercrimson.com and join us on there. Working on adding a superstar message board person. We'll see what happens. See if he takes the deal.
Yeah. Be some fireworks on that message board.
Yeah, right. They told me, like, Clint was like, like, hey, to make this message board work, you got to get on there and talk. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, like, what about talk about? I mean, I can talk so much Alabama. And he's like, I don't worry about talking about that. Talk about other stuff. So I'm on there talking about other stuff. For those of you that went to Knoxville, my favorite Knoxville beer places. Put that on there. Now, where are we at next? Oh, Auburn? I don't even know. The Supper Club closed. I haven't been down to Auburn to hang out.
I hadn't either.
And forever. And I've never been down there and been like, this is a great place to hang. Like when Athens, awesome. Ole Miss, fantastic. LSU,
yeah.
Florida.
I'm not a big Baton Rouge fan.
Not okay, but not great. Texas A&M had a good time, man. There's a place called the Dixie Chicken.
Never been there.
It was great, man. I haven't been to Austin. I've heard it's awesome. I would love that.
I'd like to go to Austin.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one. Yeah, Auburn, though, I don't have any suggestions. I'm always amazed when people tell me that their kids are going there. I'm like, oh, God, really? I'm like, for real?
Mama Goldberg's was always I always heard that was a spot in Auburn. I've never been to that Mama
Isn't that
Goldberg's.
a restaurant?
Yeah.
It's like all their spots are like restaurants that they move the tables out, We do barbecue and coffee during the day. We get after it with a band at night. You walk out smelling like barbecue. Nothing's going to chase the chicks away faster than if you smell like barbecue sauce. Sorry, guys.
You sound like that. You ever seen Blue Mountain State?
No.
That show?
No, I just sound like one of the characters on there.
The kicker. I can't repeat the line.
Yeah.
Like, this here's special teams.
Yeah. Have you ever had a kid like a high school or like middle school kid ask you for advice on like how to meet ladies and stuff? I have. And like it's just funny, like being at that age now where you're like, my son too. I mean, I try to tell him stuff.
What's your advice?
Well, first off, for him, I'm like, you got to smell good. Make sure that you go take a bath and wear, deodorant and cologne and do your hair.
That's what I've been checking on that brisket, periodically through the night. And I ran to the store to get all the stuff finalize it this more, take it off this morning and smell like that smoke,
Oh yeah.
And that's before I came here, I gave my oldest daughter a hug and kiss. She goes, "Oh," she's like, "Daddy, you smell so bad. That's enough." I'm like, I was like, Palmer, I said, I'm married now. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. but see, it's natural. Like that's just the way it is.
Oh yeah,
you gotta smell good.
Oh yeah.
Keep them. I tell them keep them teeth brushed.
Yeah, that's
nothing.
Right.
Nothing's gonna end your date faster than if you come in with some garlic breath.
Oh,
you're out. I think that starts there, and then the other thing is like, don't look so thirsty. It's like Alabama football. Act like you've been in the end zone before. Just hand the official the ball.
It's like getting recruited, If you really want to go to Alabama and they give you they want you to come up on a visit, don't wear houndstooth pants. Or neutral colors.
Yeah, right. Not sure what I'm doing here. Yeah, no, that's how it was. Like in the K house, it was like really hard to get in there, It's kind of the same thing. Sometimes you just gotta act like you don't care.
Oh yeah.
They'll let you in. So that's it. And I say be friends with everybody, like just be cool, get to know get to know people. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Yeah.
Play the long game. Just be funny. Be cool. That's my advice. So somebody out there, you're a little guy, take that one to grow on. Right. I pity the fool who come in with bad breath.
The little Jake's starting to get curious, huh?
He is.
Oh man.
I got a funny story about him to tell you. I hate that I can't tell you guys. I just don't know how it would go over. And it's one of those things like it's too soon.
Yeah.
Or not.
Probably one of those stories everybody's been there.
Yeah.
But
your kid says something, you're like, what did you just say? They're pretty funny. I don't know how anybody else would take that. Well, look, man, great show, fun, hanging out. We'll have to recover from this basketball game.
Yep.
This one felt like a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, this one felt like one that could make your season go downhill.
Yep. We'll see how those guys rebound. And they got to get. It's not just winning; it's playing the type of basketball that you want to be playing this time of year.
Yeah.
So I never count Nate Oats out, but I love that he took accountability. Hey, this one's on me. And then told us what he did, could have done better. He's a great coach. He's a great person. And we all go through this, man. I mean, it's like
it's a tough spot. It's it's hard to answer those questions because I saw one part where he goes, we practice this all the time, and sometimes you just think your players should be better in these situations, but it's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, don't think that. It's the same thing with having kids.
Which is not really. I mean, it's his fault. It's the player. It's everybody. I mean, that's just. There's too many mistakes there to put it on one person.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
well, any final thoughts?
Looking forward to Wednesday. I guess we're getting back together tomorrow, Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah, Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the Mardi Gras. Did you get you a lot of moon pies the other day? Are you out there just like catching everything because you're tall?
Yeah. I took my.
There's Jake Coker beads.
I've taken my daughter to a few, just a handful of parades over the years, but this year is the first time she's like been excited about it, and I went down and we stood close to Moe's barbecue yesterday with a couple friends and their kids, and I got Palmer on my shoulders and I'm putting my hands up, as a float comes by, and then I put my hand back down and start talking to my buddy, and like as soon as I put my hands down, not a float around yet, like another one 100 yards away, my daughter's like, grab me by the neck. She's like, Daddy, get your hands up. There's a float coming. And I'm like, golly.
She's got a ringer out there.
Oh man, she's like, get ready to catch. Get your hands up. I was like, all right.
Yeah, you got to come home with.
She got me in a chokehold, just cranking my neck.
Yeah, you got to come home with a bunch of useless stuff. Although I'm gonna pull these out for you guys just because if you waited this long, these are my two favorite things I caught. Got my sword.
KOR, that parade's tonight. So they throw that earlier this week?
I caught this last year.
No.
And then this right here. It's a helmet. It's a skeleton. It's a skull on a stick. And when I caught it, I was excited because I was like, this is something that would go so well in the studio. And look.
Yep. That's always relating back to the dead.
Yeah. That's right. I should put him over there by you because you got the Steely behind you.
Yeah.
People are like, man, that Coker must be a cool dude. He don't even. I've invited this guy. He turned down a free ticket to the Spear to see the Dead. And you never know when it's going to be the last time they play. I've sent you some amazing songs. You don't even listen to them. Once in a while, just as a friend, I try to just.
Yeah, I
just put it on when you're in the car one day and see what happens.
See what happens.
I'm telling you, just see what happens. There's a line in one of the songs, steal the face right off your head. That's what that comes from, that right there. But you would love it, man.
I can't believe how into them you are. I can.
Well, the thing I'm going to ask is just do yourself a favor and just at least listen to a couple of those songs.
I know some of their songs. I don't religiously listen or really know, but each individual song. But when it comes on, I know it's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, the ones I
saw a portion of a documentary on the Dead and the Deadheads and all that, and that was a wild time.
Well, we're not in that. I mean, that's not what we're doing.
Oh, I know.
This at the Spear, those tickets are really expensive. Now, down on the floor, I saw some dancing and some stuff going on down there. All the stuff about smelling good, forget about it down there.
No, I can't.
I stay away from that.
Those people that followed them around in vans and slept in the cars, and man,
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I don't want to say who it is. She was telling me she had a sister, and her sister has dreadlocks and stuff. And she started following fish around like that, selling grilled cheeses. I was like, there's a part of me that's that's actually pretty cool. Not for me, but it would be pretty cool to just say, forget it, go follow, follow fish. Kind of a jam band thing to do, but people did that. They followed the Dead.
Man, I leave my house for a 4-day vacation and I'm ready to get home. I can't imagine just having no. She probably doesn't even know what day of the week it is.
I don't know if she's still doing that or not, but listening to the disgust. She's my sister, blah blah blah. I was like, oh God, I hope she's not projecting any of this on me. I would love to quit my job.
I'm just going to the Spear, man.
Yeah, I'm just going for 3 days. Maybe I should take this with me to the Spear. Put a little bit of some color.
So what do they just have a show out there every?
Well, they just started it, but last year they did. But the thing about it is, there's so many good songs. You just can't. If you go to one show, there's no telling what you're going to hear and not hear.
Mm-hmm.
So when Brett and I were out there last year,
they're like the George Strait of rock,
but even more than that. But yeah, and I remember him being kind of like you, a little more open minded, but same. He's like. And then we got. I'm telling you,
I'm open minded. I got no problem with anything
your brother's
anybody
out
does.
There, your brother's out there. You could have saw that. You could have Cokers reunite. Boom. Ryan Anderson would go. He's a guy that'll do anything.
I think Ryan would say he'd go, and then he'd be like, I had something come up.
Nah, I don't think so. He'd come back in a tie-dyed shirt. But so
I don't know if Ryan. I doubt it.
nah, he's that's what I like about him, man. He fits in any group.
No, he does. He does.
He's like the guy that can walk in.
I think Ryan's kind of like me, though, in a sense that he enjoys doing his own thing on his own terms.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I think he would have fun out there.
No, I mean, I would have fun out there. I know I would, but
just didn't want to do it.
I just, it's like yesterday when we got done with that parade and I get the grill going and I get to sit down on the outdoor porch with the outdoor TV and drink a beer and watch a basketball game.
You're forcing me.
I mean, that is like
to fix the backyard.
That is like it doesn't get any better outside of being at the camp and riding around on the mule and drinking a beer with the family. That's just chilling out. That's my
okay. Well,
nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Just,
third song
chaos.
Third song, Brett was like, okay, I get it.
Like I enjoyed yesterday. I'm sure he did.
He did. It's like he became a fan. But look, I'm just next time you're in the tree stand and you put
like yesterday, I enjoyed the parade because my daughter was having a blast. It was funny watching her. But crowds, chaos.
Yeah, well, I don't like that either. It's like you get to a comfortable seat, everybody around you is fun. They're from all over the country. They're really all over the world.
Yeah.
We had some guys sitting behind us that got into the dead, and they were from like one of the Kazakhstans. But the one guy had gone to college in America, and I forget where Brett was talking to him. And then they were like, he brought the dead back to them. And then all these people were from like Kazakhstan or something that loved the dead.
Can you imagine? Like, I don't know what the musical vibe is over in Kazakhstan.
Or whatever it was, right?
But can you imagine
you guys are not going to believe this. Coming at you with a boom, 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 boom. Little Jerry.
Can you imagine just, like taking the dead to somewhere that's not modernized, that hasn't heard like real music here, and all of a sudden you break out a boombox and it's dead playing. Just like,
oh man,
you think that's like black magic. What the hell is this?
I don't know why we're just going off the rails here, but there's a Instagram group of three I don't want to say the word midgets, but and they sing. And they're from like another country and another language, And I want to say, you seen those guys?
They're great.
Yeah, they're great. And
they're great.
I don't know what they're damn saying. I don't even care. They're probably like brothers or something. And I watch them every time. And it's like, and then the one little guy comes in, the shit that Instagram brings to you.
I mean, it's hilarious, but they're talented.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, if that's what you were listening to, and then all of a sudden, they come in with like Working Man's Dead or Europe 73. I mean, you're going to be like, okay, well, man, this is a whole different world of stuff here.
Or I mean, those guys are you're out there playing cricket and you're used to the good old bands of the homeland playing, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out there and you're warming up for a game of cricket and Thunderstruck comes on. You're just like, holy I mean, deep. I'm going deep.
You just got me like the next topic I'm going to start on the message board, on the Cover Crimson message board is shit that Instagram gives you. That's I post the videos of some of those little guys. The other thing is like, I don't know why, but there's a guy named Miyagi Mike. He's got Downs and he's just hilarious. And he sings songs. He's got a mustache. Brett started sending him to me. And then we kind of got it where all of his videos are popping up. I love the guy. Like, I mean, his videos, I watch every one of them if they pop up,
I love the one. It's And I'm not even gonna describe the guy because I don't know how to, I don't know how to be polite, but he gets in the pool with the
You don't know how to be polite.
with the two Bud Lights or the glass bottle beers, and he's got the Stone Cold.
I saw him.
It's like, he cracks them together and they break. And everybody's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's so proud.
He had downs too. Yeah, bro. Funny as long as you don't take glass in the pool. I've seen that one too.
I have laughed so hard at that video. I don't know how many times.
There's one dude that, like, I sent it to Brett. I swear I sent the video to Brett probably every day for 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's a dude and he's got his hat on backwards and he's like rapping this song. And it's like his face is like right up here, and he's like, rah, 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 rah. I don't know why, but it was one of those jokes where it was funny at first, and then it got annoying, and then it turned hilarious. You know what I mean? Like day like 38 of it was funny again. Then I sent him the song, and we fell in love with the rap song that the guy was singing that we didn't even know.
Instagram, man, those shorts are great.
I got Facebook, and I don't know why Facebook's done this to me.
Or the ones where those guys they're in the costumes, like the dinosaur costume that there's a vacuum and it blows up.
Yeah.
And somebody walks up and farts into the vent.
No, I haven't seen that one.
All of a sudden, you see him like, just freaking out, like trying to get that blow.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I saw one where like a guy farted into his grandmother's breathing machine. Did you see that one? And she's like just trying to get like some fresh air. He figured out that where it was sucking the oxygen
things,
in,
man, make you laugh so hard.
Yeah. I mean, but like Facebook has the same thing where it has like the short videos and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is with Facebook. But I keep getting these eating animal videos, right? And it started out with alligators and crocodiles eating. I'm not like, I don't want to see this. And I would put like watch less, right? You know, like it's like they're like eating stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to see them eat these animals.
Yeah.
And then now I got like one the other day was a praying mantis trying to eat a mouse or something. A fight. And I'm like, this is not what I want to see. Have you seen those before?
Oh yeah. Yeah, some of those are hard to watch.
Yeah, like it's like a death struggle between a praying mantis and a mouse. And I'm like, who? First off, I don't know how you orchestrated this, but I don't want to watch it. But then I do watch it.
Yeah.
Which is pathetic.
Yeah. It's hard to look away.
Yeah, I'm like, am I watching this right now?
Like knowing a car crash is coming.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it, but you can't look away.
No, man, I don't know. It's that's something. And then I guess the last thing we can talk about today, I drove like 40,000 miles last year. And this is a service announcement to everybody from someone that I would consider a professional driver at this point. And I'm talking about, I leave here at like 3 a.m. to get to where I'm going. If I'm going to Tennessee or Birmingham, I like to get there early, beat the Calera pileup traffic that they have every day. If you're driving on 65 and you're not passing, get in the right lane. Like, and the tractor trailers, oh my God, dude. Like,
oh man, it drives me crazy when they get side by side.
Man, it's like so annoying.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah. So anybody out there wants to comment on it, maybe that's a thread I'll start over at covercrimson.com too. Traffic. You're the most annoying traffic. Cause look, I get it. Nobody likes the dude that's like tailgating you and trying to go like trying to run over you. And there's like traffic in front of you and stuff. But at the same time, if somebody wants to go 90 and you're in the way, just get out of the way.
You're describing yourself as the guy going 90.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I just said just because you may go 90 and somebody's coming up, you going 110. You know what you do? Get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
Uh-huh.
If you're not passing, then you need to get out of the way.
Yep.
So and that's my most annoying traffic thing. The other thing too, and they do this in Fairhope all the time. It's when somebody's driving like an old person and they think they're being courteous, right? Somebody's got a stop sign and they'll stop in the middle of the road and let that person out. Don't fucking do that. Grandma, no. They got a stop sign and you don't. You just drive.
I had somebody.
You know what I mean? You talk about causing an accident.
I was riding in the golf cart. I guess it was Friday afternoon with the family, and we're at a stop sign in a neighborhood, and I'm just crossing the street, and it's like a 25. The road that I'm trying to cross is like a 25-mile-an-hour street, and a car, like there's a roundabout to my left. I mean, it's kind of a jumbled up little area. I mean, I'm just waiting for there to be no cars around at all to cross because I don't want to, slow somebody down or even take a chance crossing that road. So, I mean, I'm sitting there and a truck comes up down this 25-mile-per-hour street, and there's another car behind it, and he stops, and he's like there's no stop sign or nothing. It's just a street. And he stops and tries to let me go. I'm like, dude, no, don't. I don't want any part of this.
Yeah, no.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
You're creating more of a mess than you are solving a problem.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple of times recently where I'm like, what's
I appreciate
going on?
the gesture.
Yeah, but don't do that. No, I don't want to be the one behind them.
Yeah.
Because you're watching and there's, and then all of a sudden somebody just decides to stop. It's like, okay, look, we that's not the way you do it.
We got things to do here.
Yeah, right. And one of them's not running into the back of you. So I think we've hit it all today.
Yeah.
Well, good luck out there. I'm sure that Palmer is going to have a ringer catching all those beads.
Oh yeah.
And you'll end up like us. You'll have a pile of moon pies and beads and just junk.
Yep.
I mean, now if you get one of these, that's a different story. This is like when you do like the different level of carnival winnings right here. What's his name? What do you think we should name him?
Mr. Bones.
Bones. All right, guys, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Check us in the Cover Crimson message board. Doing a lot of work in there. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use that promo code next round to double your initial deposit. And you can sign up for Cover Crimson. $25 off the annual subscription for the 2025 year. So that's Cover Crimson and at Cover Crimson on YouTube. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. We appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us, and have a great day.